Shalom, shalom. All right, I'm continuing on now. I believe I'm on part 5. All right. So the Most High says, "I will set thy boundary from the sea of Suf to the sea of the Philistine." Right. So I gave those last borders, right, and that's from the Mediterranean Sea, which is the Sea of Suf, right. Well, that's the Sea of the Suf is the Persian Gulf, to the Mediterranean, which is the Sea of the Philistine. Gaza's right there. The Philistines lived in Gaza, so that's where the Philistine was. And then from the desert, which is the Judean desert, which is where we are, heading down south towards Edom included, and all the way up to Firat, and Firat is up north beyond Damascus, near the border of Syria and Russia. Alright? It says, "I will deliver into your hand all the inhabitants of the land, and thou shalt drive them out from before thee." Now, when it says the inhabitants of the land, this does not include the seeds of Abraham. I'm trying to help you out. Okay? This is Abraham's inheritance, and so the seed of Abraham is entitled to be here. All of his seeds, okay? All the seed of Hagar, Keturah, Sarah, and even the concubines. Those children are entitled to be here. Alright? They all have a portion. Done. I don't get mad with the Most High, okay? Whatever. Okay? Exodus 23 and 32. "Thou shalt make no covenants with them nor their idols." So, the people who are here, don't make no agreements with any of these Jewish, alright, any foreign people, none of them. Don't make no agreements, alright? If you need to, you talk to the sheikhs. You can only make agreements amongst the Ishmaelites and amongst the Israelites. Those agreements you can make because you have to associate with them, okay? Don't make no agreements with no person who's not of the seed of Abraham. None, okay? So, and if you don't know, come and speak to the sheikh, and you will have clarity brought to you. As a matter of fact, I would say for your agreements, when you get into an agreement, do it with the sheikh so everything is legal. Period. "Thou shalt not let them dwell in thy land, lest they cause thee to err and to sin before me." So, everybody who's currently here, y'all just now getting back, who's currently here from another nation, the Most High wants all these nations that are here out. Men, women, children, he wants them out. See, the Abraham can stay. Alright? Of course, the Canaanites, they're going to be here too, but they get driven out a different kind of way. It is what it is. Alright? It is what it is. And Michael, the Prince of Wisdom, this is the actual angel from heaven, the high priest of heaven. We'll get to that. If you get the book, you can read deeper into the scriptures, and it explains who he is and where his position is about Michael, the archangel. Alright? He's the one over Israel, making sure we get what's supposed to happen when it's supposed to happen. Alright? Said to Moshe, "On the 7th day of the month, come up before Yahweh, thou and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship at a distance." So come up and bring an offering. Alright? "Moshe alone shall approach before Yahweh, but they shall not draw nigh, nor may the people come up with him." Alright? So it's just these 70 elders, Nadab, Abihu, Moshe, Aaron. Right? Now, those are Moses' sons, and that's what he said. Okay? And so now Moshe came and set before the people all the words of the Most High and all the judgments. Right? So he went and they heard the Most High say it, and Moses had to come down and repeat it again. Now y'all looking at me, and now y'all gonna say, "What? Yeah, because that's what a foolish nation we are, right? You heard the Most High, but then people get to talking and they get to twisting. Well, it can't be like this. It's more like this. No, then Moses come down and he reiterated exactly the way the Most High said it. And this is it. All right? Ain't no changing it. This how you shut up. You know what I'm saying? You, these, so-called scholars and stuff. You know what I'm saying? These so-called teachers, right? They don't understand the Most High as a general. Exactly what he said is exactly what he means. There's no interpretation. This is it. So he comes down, he repeats it to all the people, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all that Yah has spoken we will do. So now they have agreed to follow the Most High and these instructions of judgments. This is how we are going to think from here on out. That's what these judgments are supposed to do. Alright? And Moshe wrote the words of the Lord, and arose in the morning, and built an altar at the lower parts of the mountain, and 12 pillars for the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent the firstborn of the sons of Israel, for until that hour had the firstborn had the office of performing worship, the tabernacle of ordinance not as yet being made. So, they just got out, right? It's 3 months into the Exodus, right? So it's been 3 months since they left Egypt. And they're just now receiving the law, and they're just now hearing the words of the Most High. They heard the Most High, they met him, and we heard all his instructions, and this is what the Most High said we're supposed to think. And now, because before this point, the priesthood was on the firstborn sons and not on the priests, right? So now Moses is getting ready to set the proper things in order following the prophecy. Moses, he wrote down what the Most High said do, right? Because if you're going to be accurate, you better have a notebook. What did you say? Okay, I'm writing it down. Exactly what you said, so that when I have to repeat it, it's verbatim. Just what you said, making sure I don't get it twisted, because I don't want to get in trouble. Period. So now, the tabernacle of ordinance is not made yet, nor the priesthood given unto Aaron. And they offered burnt offerings and consecrated oblations of oxen before the Lord. Now, this is where you pick up, right here, Exodus 24 and 5. This is where you pick up what happened and what the instructions was at this moment in Leviticus chapter 1. So Leviticus chapter 1 actually begins at this moment. But we'll get there. Okay? And Moshe took half of the blood of the offerings and put it in basins, and half of the blood of the offerings, and he sprinkled upon the altar. And he took the book of the covenant of the law and read before the people. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. I am reading to you the book of the covenant of the law. Right? I'm reading it to you right now. That's why I just read everything the Most High said, and I made sure I explained it in your language. Right? Because I'm from New York. I'm from America, so I know how this English thing works. All right? So I'm explaining it to you in your language, in your English, so that it's not of a foreign tongue, so that it seems different to you. Right? And he read it before the people. So I'm reading it before you right now. Right now I'm reading it to you. And they said, all the words which Yah has spoken, we will perform and obey. That's up to you to make that decision. And the way the Most High set this up, I'm not even standing in front of you to receive an answer. I will know by who shows up and keeps this law in this land. That's how I'm going to know. Right? That's how the Most High is picking. It's not even a group effort. It's not a whole thing. You get your choice right here, right now. Share the videos. You know what I'm saying? Send it to whoever. But this is it. I'm here in Israel right now, and this is what's going down. All right? And Moshe took half of the blood which was in the basins and sprinkled upon the altar to expiate the people. All right? So now Moshe, he has to do this. because the Most High told him to do it. Right? No, Moses was a Levite. So he's doing it now, and he's following the instructions, and he's showing and teaching Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu the office of the priesthood and how to expiate the people. Right? And said, behold, this is the blood of the covenant. So now every covenant is ratified by blood, which Yah has made with you upon all these words. So he's got the words, he's got the tablets, he's got the words he wrote down, right? Everything the Most High said in his instructions. He says, now these are all the words of the covenant, and you all agree with it. And Moshe and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and the 70 elders went up. So he's got all this stuff together. He gets all this from the people. He gets all this agreement. Now he's taking everybody up. Nadab and Abihu lifted up their eyes and saw the glory of the God of Israel. So Nadab and Abihu looked up and said, oh, snap. Yo, you actually talking to them. Why? They under the priesthood too. So they get to stand before the Most High directly and kind of see, and because they are consecrated to Him, separated, set apart. You are a step closer than the rest of everybody else. You get to see X, Y, and Z things, right? And under the footstool of his feet, which was placed beneath his throne, was like the work of a sapphire stone, a memorial of the servitude with which the Mizraim had made the children of Israel to serve in the clay bricks. Right? So, the Most High under his feet is a record of all the servitude which we were made to serve. At that time is the Mizraim. At this time, it's of all the kingdoms, all the nations that we were scattered to, that we were captured by. All the nations is a record. And it's written in sapphire, in stone at the Most High's feet, ever present. So now there's a record. So when he's bringing judgment, it's not unjustified. And I don't care about the present generation and how they feel about what the past generation did, because you still reaping the benefits from their actions. So you are thereby guilty by association and companionship with those who did it previously. But I'm moving on. All right. What time there were women treading clay with their husbands. So women and men were working together, just like today. Not the men working and the women taking care of the families. The men and the women got to work. Right? The delicate young women with child was also there. So now the young women are working too, as well as, of course, the young men. What do you have today? Everybody got to work. The men, the women, and the young women, the delicate. And made abortive by being beaten down with the clay. See? So now you were made abortive. Why? You had abortion clinics. You got overworked, stressed out. You know what I'm saying? They shrunk down your maternity leave. You're getting all these complications because you're supposed to be somewhere having an easier life. Right? There's supposed to be more rest involved. You're supposed to be living in a certain lifestyle, and you're not. And thereof did Gabriel, the angel, descending, make brick, and going up to the heavens on high, set it, a footstool under the cathedra of Yah of the world, whose splendor was as the work of a precious stone, and as the power of the beauty of the heavens when they are clear from clouds. Okay, so Gabriel comes down, and when he helped them make bricks back in that day, he made this to keep a record, and he put it up and set it before the Most High, right? That's what he did. Done. But upon Nadab and Abihu, the comely young men, they were handsome brothers, was the stroke not sent in that hour, all right? But it awaited them on the 8th day for a retribution to destroy them. But they saw the glory of the Shekinah of the Lord and rejoiced that their oblations were received with favor, and so did eat and drink. So, they saw the glory of the Most High, right? They weren't supposed to. They were supposed to be bowed down and in their place with the 70 elders, but they wanted to see and they saw. But the stroke wasn't sitting that hour. Now you get into Leviticus and you read about how they died and they placed strange fire. They did this and they did that and a whole bunch of other stuff. And they went up there. They were tipsy because they had some wine before they did their service. That's it. You get into that. That's why I said, you know where it starts now. You can start and you can intercorrelate the story. And Yah said to Moshe, ascend before me at the mount, and I will there give thee the tables of stone on which I have set forth the rest of the words of the law, the 613 precepts which I have written for their instruction. So now he's going to receive the tablets written by the hand of the Most High with 613 precepts. So don't believe the lie that some Jewish guy was so holy he figured this out. That's a damn lie. He didn't figure it out. It's written right here in the Aramaic. Tells you exactly how many precepts there are. So these are the 613 precepts. Anything you have outside of the law is just confirmation to confirm your understanding and to expound upon these precepts. So these are the precepts, okay? Don't come to me with line upon line and precept upon precept and then you go to the New Testament. That don't work. Right? That's not going to cut it. This is where we are. All right? These are the 613 precepts. There's only 613 precepts. And then there's the fulfillment of the 613 precepts in our lives day to day. That's the instruction. Moshe arose and Joshua his minister. So Joshua was the minister of Moshe. What does that mean? Joshua was the one, like he was close to Moshe. He followed Moshe. He listened to everything Moshe had to say. Moshe taught him. He worked with Moshe. All right? Moshe needed this. He was there by Moshe. He was Moshe's right hand. And Moshe went up to the mountain on which was revealed the glory of the Shekinah of Yah. And to the sages, okay? Let me explain the sage thing, all right? We have sages, and the sage is the, like, wise men, all right? Full of logic and reasoning. Mostly of the tribe of Issachar, but every tribe has some. But that's the tribe of Issachar's gift. They have sages, all right? These people sit and they have logic and reason, and they're going to reason out and meet out, and they see things, cause and effect, and they can lay out both sides. And they just make a presentation, all right? Let's not get into the Sadducees and the Pharisees, because those didn't exist, all right? He had said, expect us here at the time of our return to you. And behold, Aaron and Hur. Okay, y'all know about Hur. Okay, if you don't, Hur was with them in Egypt, and he helped them when they came out, and he was a friend to Aaron and Moshe. Are with you. If there be any matter of judgment, bring it to them. Because those three were close. Aaron, Hur, and Moshe. They were close. And so anything that was meted out, they knew how Moshe was thinking. They said, look, this is like this is like this. So they knew Moshe was following instructions, and they knew to follow Moshe's instructions. So, and they knew how to dole out the judgment. They were the top of the pile because Moshe went up into the mount, and the glory of the cloud of glory covered the mount, and the glory of the Lord Shekinah abode upon the mount of Sinai, and the cloud of glory covered it 6 days. And on the seventh day, he called to Moshe from the midst of the cloud. All right? And the appearance of the splendor of the cloud of glory of Yah was a burning fire with flashes of devouring fire. And the sons of Israel beheld and were awestruck. So this is, Moshe is up there, and it's dark, and it looks terrible. It's scary. Fire and consuming. They could see the fire and everything going on up there. And they were like, hey, I don't want to be up there in the midst of none of that. I don't want none of that. And Moshe entered in the cloud. Moshe entered into the midst of the cloud and ascended the mountain. And Moshe was upon the mountain 40 days and 40 nights, learning the words of the law from the mouth of the Holy One of Israel. So now he's being taught all of the explanations, whose name be praised. And the Lord spoke with Moshe, saying, continuing on, speak unto the children of Israel that they shall set apart before me a separation, everyone whose heart is willing, but not by constraint. You shall take my separation, and this is the separation which you shall take of them: gold and silver and brass, and hyacinth and purple and crimson and fine linen and goat skins and skins of rams dyed red, and purple skins and woods of sittim or shittim. Okay? That's acacia wood. Olive oil for the light, and aromatics for the confection of the pure anointing oil, and of the fragrant incense. Gems of beryl, that are gems of perfection, for engraving and insertion in the ephod and in the breastplate. And they shall make a sanctuary to my name, that my Shekinah may dwell among them. Now, let me make sure you have this clear understanding of what's important to the Most High. So, we are at the halfway point, right? And the first thing the Most High sets in order, right, is do exactly what I say do, and you live this agricultural lifestyle. And this is how you treat your brother, the strangers, my land, and my people. That's the first orders. Marriage, how you treating women, all right? How you treating the young ones, right? Respecting the eldership, respecting the leadership, right? And the leadership being 100% circumspect to the law, period. And there's no favoritism, there's no bribery. So he sets in order what is our order here first. Now get this together. Makes the contract, makes the covenant, says I'm going to give you the rest of the words of this so that you know what to do for what I need or what I want you to do for me. Why? Because he's already in perfection. He's got his high priest in heaven, it's Michael. I know y'all still need to study on that, but we'll sit down with that and we can break bread about that. So now you have this breakdown, and the Most High is now telling you this is what I require you make for my service, for my holy days, my Shabbats, and my feast days. All right? So you got the new moon, the Shabbats, and the feast days, and this is the tabernacle being built, and what the Most High requires day and night. All right? And the service. So now he's going into this stuff. Okay? So now you're getting these are the orders. So your civil order, the order of covenants and women, the order of the ground, the agriculture of seeds, the order of civil and properties, right? And the order of the nation. So, and then you have the sixth order, which is of the Moedim. So these are the orders, all right? And they shall make a sanctuary to my name, that my Shekinah may dwell among them. So you have to make the sanctuary, right? At first, it's just a tent, and it's going to grow, okay, over time to become a tabernacle, all right, a building. But it starts out, and Most High said, make me a tent, and this is what I love. I love this Bedouin tent, all right? So I may dwell among them. According to all that I show thee, the likeness of the tabernacle, and the likeness of all its vessels, so shalt thou make. Now, I have all of the instructions to make the tabernacle, and we have the instructions to make the tent. But we don't have to make the tent because the tent is intact. The tent is still here. All right? And they shall make an ark of sittim wood, 2 cubits and a half its length, and 1 cubit and a half its breadth, and 1 cubit and a half its height. And thou shalt cover it with pure gold within and without, and shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt cast for it 4 rings of gold, and thou shalt set them upon its 4 corners, 2 rings for one side and 2 rings for the second side. So the Most High is making an ark so that now we're going to put these tablets and what the Most High has requested to be in it. And the ark is coming to us today. Okay? We are going to have this ark. I'm going to pause the video at this time, and start again with the next part.